The search for the unknown and the spirit of exploration has always lured Cebuano filmmaker Remton Zuasola, an avid wanderer who favors the less traveled roads of the world. But wherever his journeys took him, he always comes back to the historic island that raised and nurtured him and his art, a dot in the globe that became a stage of an epic battle that changed the course of world history half a millennia ago. Remton has always dreamt of making a film about that epic battle. And so he started his research right in the heart of the once powerful kingdom behind that 1519 expedition to the Orient. Here in the Naval Museum of Madrid, he learned about the grand ships of Magellan's fleet, how they were built, and the naval equipment used in the 15th century. He also saw the advanced weaponry used by the Spaniards that are now side by side with the weapons of the natives that defeated them. Inside the museum hangs a portrait of a man of divisive character, both adored and abhorred even today. Remton wants to learn more about the man, and the fuel that was ablaze inside him that burned until his very last breath in the sandy shores of Magellan. So he crossed the border to Spain's neighboring country that was once her fiercest rival in world domination, Portugal. The exploits of colonization is evident in its capital, Lisbon, a wealthy and proud city rooted upon luxurious hills facing the Atlantic. In the northern banks of the Tagus River stands the towering Monument of Discoveries, erected to celebrate Portugal's achievements during the Age of Exploration. Here, Magellan is seen holding a ring, signifying the first circumnavigation, standing alongside the luminaries of Portugal's naval history. But inside the Museo Marina, or the Maritime Museum of Lisbon, there is little to be known of Magellan and his works. Wanting to dig deeper, Remton traveled further north to Portugal's next big city of Porto and immersed in the life along the mouth of the Douro River and the wine-making culture of the region. Using Porto as a jump-off point, he heads to the place where it all started for Magellan, his birthplace, Sabrosa. Sabrosa is a municipality situated in the Douro Valley, a region known globally for the production of fine wine, a town tucked away from the major tourist hotspots of the region, so getting there is a bit tricky even today. Hands outstretched pointing to the unknown, Sabrosa's greatest son welcomes everyone who happens to wander here. Entering the town's center is like visiting a place from one's childhood, where everything was locked in a time capsule. Quaint and quiet, Sabrosa welcomed Remton, who met with Alfredo Martins, a local of Sabrosa who kindly shared his knowledge of his town. Alfredo brought Remton to their church, and inside, a familiar face greeted him, the child Jesus of Cebu, who now rests in one of their altars, a sign of the deepening friendship between these places. Back in 2014, Cebu City and the municipality of Sabrosa signed a sisterhood pact that binds them together in shared history as great milestones of Magellan's circumnavigation of the globe. Sabrosa even honored Cebu by naming a street after it. Wanting to contribute to Remton's research, Alfredo shared some precious books pertaining to Magellan's voyage and their copy of the Treaty of Tordesillas. One of Sabrosa's greatest treasure is the well-preserved Casa Barriera, the birth home of Ferdinand Magellan, where he spent his formative years until he left to join the royal court in Lisbon when he turned 12.
Tradition for all the people that came to Sabrosa that intend to know about the life of Magellan here. And this is the house. And one of the proofs that it was his house is that his coat of arms was destroyed by the orders of the King of Portugal, Dom Manuel.
Alfredo pointed out a spot in the wall where the Magellan's family coat of arms would have been. It is known that upon learning of Magellan's shift of alliance to rival Spain, the King of Portugal sent his men to destroy Magellan's family seal. And fearing for their lives, Magellan's family escaped to Brazil and never came back. Magellan has been declared a traitor in his homeland, and after his death in Mactan, his surviving crew returned to Spain and spoke ill about him, and he was refused the honor many people think he deserves. Here's a man responsible for planting the seed of Christianity in Asia, but also lighted the fire of colonization that brought centuries of sufferings among the natives. When all is dark and hopeless, one often recalls the blissful experience of childhood where everything is pure. Before leaving Sabrosa, Alfredo brought Remton in a square where a statue of a young Magellan playing with a toy boat in a small pond can be seen, looking into the unknown. One can imagine that it was perhaps in Sabrosa that young Magellan's passion to conquer the unknown was ignited and stayed ablaze all his life. But unfortunately, in his greatest voyage, he didn't reach his destination. But in his case, the journey was all that matters.